What we decided, when we took action and what we've been doing over the last 10 years with the ISM, with Free Gaza, and all the other outgrowth organizations and movements and groups that have formed to bring foreigners to Palestine, to work with Palestinian civil society, to ramp up resistance to the policies of occupation and apartheid around the world. This all is part of the Palestinian movement for Palestine. It involves Palestinians, it involves foreigners. This is truly an international movement, the kind of which the world doesn't know for any other cause today. It is only Palestine that inspires this kind of action around the world. In any country you go to, in South America, in East Asia, in Europe, in Africa, here in North America. It is only Palestine and this cause, which has been bleeding and going on for over 60 years, that generates this kind of activism, this kind of resistance. And what we are seeing today, well, I believe where this movement is going today, and where Free Gaza is one tactic of a larger strategy, is to transform this conflict from one between Israel and the Palestinians, or Israel and the Arab world, which I don't even think that one actually exists anymore, but really between Israel and the Palestinians, to one between the rest of the world and Israel. We are making it so, all of us together, are making it so that the competition, the conflict, the battle is between those who are standing up for justice, those who are standing up against apartheid, against racism, against dispossession, against inequality, against those who continue. And it's amazing how they continue. It's not just the blockade, it's not just the siege, it's not just the home demolitions, it's not just the wall in the West Bank. It's not just the effort to continue to dispossess Palestinians of their land, of their livelihood, and increasingly of their documents, of their papers. Ask any Palestinian from Jerusalem how hard it is to keep their blue ID. It's also now to define a place with over 20% of the population indigenous Palestinians to the land, to define that land underneath their feet as Jewish, and to further dispossess the people and subject them to permanent second or third or fourth class citizenship. All of this, all of these policies, although Free Gaza is, as I mentioned, a tactic and something we're working on as a specific, dealing with a specific objective, ending the blockade and the siege on Gaza. It is just one tactic as a part of a larger movement confronting all of these policies. And all of these policies constitute a whole that we can use the word apartheid to describe, we can use occupation as a word to describe it, whatever we want to use it, that's what we're up against. BDS, boycott, divestment, and sanctions, that's another tactic. The resistance that's all going on the ground, on the wall, the nonviolent resistance against the wall that you see in the film Rutgers, if any of you have seen this, the village resistance that's going on, that's another tactic. But all of it, I believe, is part of a strategy now to transform this conflict and internationalize it, and to really undermine Israel where it gets its most support. Yes, it is strong on the ground. Yes, Israel has the ability to create facts on the ground, and that's what it has been consistently doing now for 60 years. But we can start creating our own facts on the ground. But our ground is not just the ground of Palestine. Our ground is worldwide. And that's where our resistance has to be, worldwide. People talk often these days, you hear it often mentioned about a third intifada starting. And I'm telling you, they're counting wrong. We already have a third intifada. It's going on right now. It's going on all over the world. It's going on where stock workers in Sweden, after this flotilla, refuse to unload Israeli ships when they arrive in Swedish ports. It's going on in Norway, where the state Norwegian pension fund withdrew its investments from 2 Israeli companies this summer that were building settlements in the West Bank, investing in building settlements in the West Bank. It's going on where a Dutch bank last year withdrew its investment in a French company building the light railway in Jerusalem, citing international law as the reason for its divestment of its investment in that company. It's happening. Even another Dutch. The Dutch are doing great. I don't know what's in the water over there, but they're doing something amazing. Just last week or the week before, the Dutch government raided the offices of a Dutch company, a private company that was selling cranes for construction in the settlements in the West Bank, and it raided this office and is going to file charges against this company for violating international law. And it's going on in the unions around the world who are voting to take steps of boycott, divestment, and sanctions. It's going on college campuses. It's going on in the state of California, where there's an effort to have a ballot initiative to get Californians to divest from their holdings of Israeli bonds. It's happening in Connecticut, where an effort is underway to do the same thing. It's the Canadian Postal Workers Union, who's already voted for divestment. It's happening around the world. But in order to keep up this momentum, and the momentum is on our side, I realize that things are really depressing. Things perhaps today in Palestine are at their lowest point ever. There's no doubt. I certainly don't doubt that. I've been to dozens, if not all, of the refugee camps in all the surrounding countries, including, as was mentioned, the ones on the border between Iraq and Syria, and I know how bad things are today. But even though we're starting off at a point like this, where Israel really has so much power and resources at its disposal, momentum is on our side. And we don't necessarily have to get all the way up here to succeed. The tipping point is somewhere here in the middle. And we'll get to, every day we're moving closer and closer to that tipping point, and every day through taking direct action, as with the Flotilla, as with BDS, as with the on-the-ground nonviolent resistance that's going on, through all of these various tactics and pressures that are happening, we're pushing Israel, the Israeli government, into making more and more mistakes, and its supporters into making more and more mistakes. And I even think the effort made by groups off campus to try to shut down this event tonight were a mistake. As I mentioned, we're going to be going again with another flotilla because we believe, and we've shown, that only through direct action, through pressure, can things change. As I mentioned, the ICRC made a statement determining that the blockade was illegal only after our flotilla. They had 2 years since the blockade was first put in place to determine that this was collective punishment. And although the ICRC is on the ground, it knows what's happening in Gaza, it didn't make this ruling. Only after we took action. Governments around the world came out with statements, and statements are good, but they're not enough. Israel even changed the policy of the siege. It's not over, it's just a cosmetic change, but it's still a change. A faster change than anything else we've seen, and only because of this kind of pressure. So we have to keep it up. We need your support to do that. We have the U.S. boat to Gaza. It's done a phenomenal job so far of organizing people, of getting people active and excited and contributing their time and money and effort and everything. And we need you to keep it up. Because when that flotilla sails, it's not just the people who are on the boat. It's not just the people who are sitting in offices and sending out press releases and calling the media and calling journalists, calling government officials and all that. It's everybody around the world who's invested in some way in these ships that are going to make a difference. It's speaking out wherever you are. I can't tell you how many people came up to me, friends of my parents, friends of my brother, people who never speak on this issue, who don't even know enough to speak on this issue, really. After the flotilla was attacked, they'd be sitting in a restaurant hearing somebody else talk about it. And they would get up and speak because they knew that my wife was on board, or they knew somebody else was on board, and they would speak up and defend our actions. That's the kind of change we're seeing around the world, and that's the kind of change that we need. And we need all of you to continue to participate. What you've done here tonight is astounding, but we need to keep it up, and we need to make it escalate when we set sail in March of next year, with a bigger flotilla than last time, with more participants, with our goal of ending the blockade and the siege on Gaza, so that we can then move on and come up with new tactics and new strategies for pressure to ending the entire occupation once and for all. Thank you.
Adam, for those very powerful and inspiring words. I think I'm ready to continue this presentation. That's what I'm ready to do. Our next speaker is another cousin.